So last class we looked at translating of points. So what we are going to do now, we are going to extend it into looking at translation of an entire shape. So we always use the translation vector t is equal to xy. X, if it's positive, means that we are moving to the right. Y, if it's positive, it means we are moving upwards. If X is negative, we are moving towards the left. And if Y is negative, we are working down. So I'm going to explain with a diagram and an example. So it's going to be very, very simple. So now instead of just translating one point, the shape in this particular example is a triangle. So we will be translating 3 points. So the question is stated there. I will upload all of these for you so you'll have the hard copy of it. And I've also left a little bit of notes as to aid you in the explanation and the working of the question. Right, so I have placed, as I said, a little bit of an explanation. Now we are going to draw up our axes. So your x-axis and your y-axis, and label them up. Now because of the range of values that we have to work with, that is why I am drawing my y-axis closer to the left since I need to have more room to the right, and I'm drawing my x-axis closer to the bottom so that I will have more space to the top. I'm labeling them up x and y. My scale is 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on both axes, and we are going between -2 to +7 on both of them. So you take your time and you fill it in and you start plotting the points. So the first point A is at -2, 5. Then we have point B, which is at 1, 3, so 1 on your x, 3 on your y, and then point C, it's 1 on your x and 5 on your y. So normally we would have to put in the coordinates for those points. I will put them in after. Now it's just to connect all 3 dots to create your shape, which in this case is going to be a triangle. Our next step is to use the transformation vector 5, 1, and we are going to translate this triangle. So what we are going to do is just like we did before, we are going to translate 1 point at a time. So we are going to translate point A, 5 units to the right and 1 unit up. So that will take us to be right where I'm putting this x, and that is going to be called A prime. Then you're going to do the same thing for another point. So for B, we are going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to the left and then 1 unit upwards. So that's going to be B prime, which will have coordinates 6 on my x-axis and 4 on my y-axis. And my last point is C. I am going 5 points to the right and 1 unit up. So that's C prime, which will have coordinates 6, 6. Once you do that, just like we did for our original triangle ABC, we are going to connect the 3 dots, and this is going to be A prime, B prime, and C prime. If we look at it, both triangles are the same size. Their orientation is the same. You have just slid across triangle ABC. Right, so the length of BC is 2 units, the length of B prime, C prime is 2 units, and it goes for all the other 2 sides. So remember, for translations, the shape is preserved, the length of the sides are preserved, and the angles are preserved. So it's exactly the same shape, and that is why we use the term image. So now we are going to look at a second example. So we are going to draw the triangle ABC with coordinates A 3 minus 1, B 5 minus 1, and C 3 1. Then we are going to translate it using the translation vector negative 4 3, and we're going to label it up A prime, B prime, and C prime. And we are going to state the coordinates of all the points that we have plotted. So they also give us a guide for the scale as well as the range of values to use. Now, even though the question states that you need to state the coordinates, you should always state the coordinates when you are doing transformation questions. So I didn't do it in the last one, but I'll add it in for you. So now we are going to draw up our axes. It's between negative 5 and 5. So I'm drawing my two axes more or less to the center of my paper. It's 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit again on both axes. Remember, your x-axis is always your horizontal axis and your y-axis is always your vertical axis. So I'm zooming in a little bit so you can see. Where the two lines intersect, that is always going to be 0, and each large block is going to be 1 centimeter. So I'm labeling them up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then negative 1 to negative 5 on the left hand side of my x-axis, and I'm doing the same to my y-axis. Once I am done with doing that, I am going to start plotting the points for the 3 coordinates of the triangle that we were given in the question. The points. So the first point I'm going to plot is the point A. The coordinates of A are 3 and negative 1. So it's 3 on my x-axis and negative 1 on my y-axis. Then I'm going to plot point B. And point B is located at the point 5, negative 1. So I'm writing in the coordinates as I go along so that we can keep track of the 3 points. Then we are going to plot the third point, which is going to be C, and that is located at 3, 1. Now all you have to do is connect the 3 dots to form your triangle. So this is going to be your triangle A, B, C. So I'm going to draw it in red so that you all can notice it clearly. Remember, when you are drawing your graphs and your diagrams, you need to use only pencil. Once you have connected all 3 dots and form your triangle, now we are going to translate the shape. In order to translate the shape, we are going to use the transformation vector, and we are going to do it for each point. Right, so now we are going to perform the translation. So we are going to translate points A, B, and C using the translation vector -4, -3. So -4 means I'm moving 4 units to the left in the x direction or the horizontal direction, and I am moving 3 units down on the y-axis or in the y direction. So moving 4 units to the left, that will take me to -1, and then I'm going to move 3 units down, which will take me to the position -4. So that is going to be my point C. So I'm putting it in blue so that you can see it clearly. So that's C prime. Actually, that should not have been C prime. That should have been A prime. So I will make the adjustment to it in a little bit. Right, so A prime, after applying the translation vector, it's going to be the point -1, -4. So those are known as the coordinates of that point or the ordered pair. Next, I'm going to look at B. So I'm going to be moving across to the left 4 units. So that is going to take me to the point 1, and then I am going to move down 3 units because it's -3, and that will take me to the point -4. So B prime will become 1 -4. So the coordinates of B prime are 1 -4, also known as the ordered pair. Then we have to do the last point. So I already did it, so we are moving it 4 points across and then 3 points down. So C will be located at the coordinates -1, -2. So that is C prime. So I'm just shifting it a little bit so that you can clearly see the points, and I'm also given enough room to draw my triangle. Then you take your ruler. You always draw your lines with a ruler. You do not want freehand drawings. So you take your ruler and you connect up those 3 points to form your image triangle: A prime, B prime, C prime. That's how simple it is. And again, you can look at the triangles and observe them, and you'll see that the lengths of the sides are the same, the orientation of the triangles are the same. They have just been slid across, and the sliding is known as translating, and it's translated in a straight line. Very, very simple. So that's it.